The office boy was left upstairs with an umbrella. It was a baggy sort of thing. The kind that a gentleman carried because the sky might change its mind before he reached home. Its owner had gone downstairs, and another gentleman had gone with him, and the boy had been left in the office, with the umbrella, 2 doors, and the sound of grown men examining a cellar. One of those doors led out onto the street. The other opened into a narrow flight of steps going down. This was Butt's Court in the centre of Leeds, and in February 1926, the Yorkshire Evening Post ran a story there about a cellar that was reputed haunted for longer than no one in the article could say. No one had ever seen a ghost. That would have made things simpler. What people heard were cries, groans, and at times violent noises rising beneath an ordinary place of business and making the people above stop what they were doing to listen. There was different ways of dealing with this. An older tenant had taken the sociable approach. When the cries were at their worst, he would open the cellar door and offer the spirit a drink. There's confidence in that. The confidence of a man who believes that whatever is making a disturbance might at least be expected to observe the usual courtesies. The businessman who occupied the premises later preferred an experiment. He took fine thread and he laid it as a trap, and if anything moved through the cellar, the thread would be broken. He checked it afterwards. Nothing had touched it. So he tried speaking instead, and he challenged the ghost to come upstairs. It didn't. At least, not when he invited it. But the businessman later claimed that while he was alone below, something struck him heavily on the back of his neck. He saw no one. His thread had proved nothing, and the cellar had still managed to leave him with a story of his own. Then came the 2 visitors. The newspaper never called them professors. It merely gave one of them professional whiskers, which is not quite the same qualification. There was also the baggy umbrella. Now, they'd come to examine the cellar properly. Walls, corners, and the ordinary surfaces from which an extraordinary noise ought eventually to surrender an explanation. They went down the narrow steps, and the boy, he stayed above. Below him, the men moved around the cellar. They inspected the walls, they looked into the corners, then they stopped. Because there's always a point in any careful examination, when you've done all the moving you can do, that the only thing left is to wait. The noise began. The 2 men were up those steps at once. No more walls, no more corners, no waiting for the thing to happen twice. They came out of the cellar, passed through the office, and made for the street. The office boy heard the commotion, and he ran after them. The men chose the street door, the boy chose the other one. He went through the cellar door and fell down the narrow steps. A bottle broke. It cut his wrist. And whatever humour there'd been in the sight of 2 whiskered investigators running for daylight ended there. The boy's mother found him another job. That was her answer to the cellar. The older tenant had offered it a drink. The businessman had given it a thread, a challenge, and the back of his neck. The visitors had given it a thorough inspection until the cellar made its noise, and the boy's mother gave it nothing else. Now, there were explanations. Engineers were said to have suggested that air and water might be working together below the building. There was also said to be an old underground passage leading to a destination that nobody in the account could name. And close to the premises, or possibly within that underground space, the report does not make the arrangement clear, there was said to be a well. Its water had a mineral taste, People called the well bottomless. No measurement survives to tell us what it was. Air, water. An old passage under the city. Any of them might have helped a Cellar find a voice. But none of them explain why the noise began. Only after two confident men had finished looking for it. And maybe that's why the story lasted. The Cellar never gave anyone what they asked for. No figure appeared. No thread was broken. No explanation managed to close the door. What survived was simpler. Two men went down to inspect the cellar. When the noise began, they went up and out. The boy went through the other door, and his mother made certain he never had to choose between them again. That's Giles Narrates, signing off.